Hi guys, it's Emily, and today I'm here to bring you a Miscellaneous Reads video. I got two books to talk about, and they're both books that I finished a while back, but I didn't get to talk about them because they didn't fit the mystery theme that I have going on my channel in March for March Mystery Madness, but I still wanted to talk about them. So let's just get right into it. So I never talked about my Anne of Green Gables book for February, but that was Anne of Windy Poplars by L.M. Montgomery. This is book number 4 in the Anne series, and I always tell people that this is my favorite one because it's partially an epistolatory novel, which is one of my favorite types of novels. I am always down to try an epistolatory novel, but this time I actually think I'm starting to prefer the first 3 books. There's just something so idyllic about, Anne still being on Prince Edward Island. But yeah, I really always have a special place in my heart for this one because, yeah, it was my favorite for a long time. So in this one, we are following Anne during her 3 years as the principal of Summerside High. She is being the principal while Gilbert is going to medical school. She's waiting for him to finish up so they can get married and start their life together. And so the epistolatory part of the book is her writing letters to Gilbert at medical school. And of course, she writes very long, lengthy letters telling all about the crazy things that go on at the school. When she first gets there, she is not liked by many of the students because the town is predominantly made up of the Pringle family and their descendants, and one of the Pringles applied for Anne's job and didn't get it, and so all of the Pringles people hate her, and so eventually she wins them over with her great detective skills. I won't say anything more because I don't want to spoil anything if you haven't read it. She then also has a fellow teacher at the school that doesn't like her named Catherine, but then eventually they become friends, and then we also see her, just fun exploits with the townspeople of Summerside. And we also see she lives in a very charming house with 2 aunts and a hired woman named Rebecca Dew, and we see their adventures and personalities, and it's just a really fun, wonderful story. I always enjoy rereading this one. I will say that I recently learned something new about this book that I'd never heard before, and that was this book was written 20 years after the rest of the Anne books. I always assumed they were written in chronological order, but I learned this when Emma from Drinking by My Shelf did her video where she tried to read all of the Anne books in 24 hours, and she referenced this, and she said she could tell that it was written a lot later than the other ones, but I couldn't really tell, but maybe it's because I've read it so many times in childhood, and so it's just a comfort read for me, whereas I could kind of see if you are reading them for the first time, maybe you pick up on more of the nuances, but overall, I've really enjoyed this book, and I'm looking forward to getting back to book number 5, Anne's House of Dreams, in April. The next book that I want to mention is Miss Cecily's Recipes for Exceptional Ladies by Vicky Zimmerman. This was my personal book club's book for the month in March, and this is a contemporary fiction novel following a 39-year-old woman named Kate. She is having a bit of a rut in her life. At the start of the book, her boyfriend, who had previously asked her to move in with her, tells her that he wants to actually take a break because he's kind of like, getting cold feet about moving in together. So Kate is sort of, depressed and looking for ways to fill her time. So she starts volunteering at a local nursing home where she meets a woman named Cecily Finn, who is 97 years old. And the 2 women become friends, and Cecily begins telling Kate about her own life story. And she also gives Kate a cookbook called Thought for Food. And Kate is a really big foodie. She loves to eat, she loves to cook, and she starts cooking through this cookbook, and she discovers that a lot of the recipes recipes applied to things in her own life, and it sort of inspires her to take initiative and sort of change her life. She it has a dead-end job, and so we see how she changes her job situation. We see how she handles the boyfriend situation, and eventually we see her 40th birthday is coming up, and it's a big plot point in the book, and we see how when her 40th birthday comes, it's kind of a catalyst for her to jumpstart a new direction in her life, and we see her friends and her family, and they're pushing her towards this new jump start in her life, and we just see how she is becoming a more fulfilled, happier woman who is dependent on herself rather than depending on others for her happiness. This was a really sweet book, but I will say I didn't find it particularly novel in any way. It was fine. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't anything special in my opinion. It's a 422-page book, which for a contemporary novel seems like long, and I felt like it was long. I felt like they could have cut at least 50 pages, maybe even 100 out of this, because it does take her a long time to get to this new stage in her life. And we see her drama with the boyfriend for a good chunk of the book, and then we get into the new stages of her life, which are a lot more interesting, and Kate becomes a lot more interesting of a character, but it does take a long time to get to that point. So this was cute. I would recommend it if you're looking for something that's a lot about food and cooking and eating, and it's also a really good multi-generational friendship book. I always really enjoy reading books with older characters. That's like one of my favorite things in books, so I was really excited to pick this up. And Cecily is a really great character. It's just she's not in it enough to warrant the length of the book and the focus on Kate, who I personally felt like was not like super interesting of a character, again because it takes her so long to discover her own initiative and to change her life. But overall, this was cute, but nothing to write home about. So that's what I read lately that I never got to talk about, and I was really excited now to get into my April reading. I think I said last week, but normally I plan my books far in advance, and so I should know by now what I'm reading for April, but I really haven't decided, so I think April's just going to be like a mood reading month for me, but I am trying to read, all the books on my 4 list, and so April will be predominantly a month where I read from my list, so maybe that's why I'm not, rushing out to pick anything, because I only have a limited amount of books to choose from. But anyway, I hope everybody else is reading some great books, that you're keeping safe and healthy, and that, oh wait, I gotta tell you that I got my second COVID vaccine, and now it's been 2 weeks, so yay, I'm like not 100% protected, obviously, but I'm getting close, and I feel a lot less nervous about going out in public, and I went out for breakfast at a restaurant this morning, and it was super exciting, so yay, I'm so excited, and the weather in Texas is really great right now at the time of filming, and yeah, I'm just feeling really happy and really excited for the rest of the year. So anyway, hope you're reading some great books, hope you're keeping safe and healthy, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye!